Hey gang, what's going on? And welcome to Talking Vegas All Day with KA. I'm your host, KA, and on today's episode, we are going to continue our Vegas Icon series with Bob Stupak as we discuss the Stratosphere Tower Observation Deck. But before we get started, make sure to click that like button, hit subscribe, and punch that notification bell so you can get up-to-date information when we drop new episodes. And also, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify and on Apple as well. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about the Strat Tower Observation Deck today on Talkin' Vegas All Day with me, KA.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night. Let's go to Vegas. Let's get away.
So when we left off last time, Vegas World had closed and Bob had decided to create an observation tower as a Vegas landmark to set himself above the rest. In 1996, construction of the observation tower was complete at around a cost of $70 million. At the time, at 1,142 feet, it was the tallest freestanding observation tower in the United States, and second only to the CNN Tower in Ontario, Canada, in the Western Hemisphere. Now, at the time and during construction, it had gotten a lot of ire from local residents that felt it would be a major eyesore within the North Las Vegas Strip area. And in fact, it received in 2006 two negative awards, one being the biggest embarrassment and the second being the worst skyline in Vegas. However, it was still considered and is still to this day part of the iconic Strip and iconic Vegas skyline. Apparently, there is a council on the tall building and urban habitat, and they would not register it as one of the tallest buildings because it's not considered fully habitable. Apparently, it has to have a bathroom access. There are certain standards, let's put it that way, where people are able to live there, bedrooms, yada, yada, yada. Bottom line, urban habitat had deemed it not a building. But regardless, the structure had two observation decks, an indoor and an outdoor, rides on the top level, a wedding chapel, and a restaurant called Top of the World. The restaurant on the 106 floors offered views of the valley and had a revolving motor that the restaurant revolved around every 80 minutes. Now, KA and JA spent some time at Top of the World a few years back, and I'm going to give you my review on that real quick. Basically, we went there for an anniversary meal, booked reservations, which I would encourage you to do. The view is breathtaking when you walk in. Basically, you walk in, you get seated, and when you first step onto the restaurant floor, you will notice it's moving a little bit, so make sure you brace yourself, but it's not that bad. Second, we sat down, waitress came over, explained to us that basically, this thing's rotating, not to be scared, that it shakes sometimes due to the motors, that nothing bad's happening. So if you had, like we did, we asked for a table right up against the glass where you can look right down, up, and all around the valley, which I prefer and enjoyed. We both did. Just be aware that if you are afraid of heights, maybe sit back, and there's two levels. There's the first level and then step down into the lower level. So just you might want to stay up a little bit higher. Also, they told us if you see people falling past you, it's part of the bungee jumping that they have at the top on the amusement ride. Anyway, our meal was excellent. Prices there are a little higher end, but you pay for the view, as I say. That said, the food is excellent. I had chicken and a chicken Caesar salad. It was absolutely phenomenal. JA had a salad and soup. Our bill was around $100, but when you think about it, for dinner on an on-strip property, it wasn't that bad. We also had an appetizer. I forget what we had. I think we had some drinks. It was a good meal. I will go back again, and we've actually talked about it here in the last couple of days about next time we go out, hopefully in Easter, that we will maybe have dinner or maybe an early, late lunch there at Top of the World. So definitely check that out. Now, getting back to the observation tower itself. An indoor and outdoor observation deck was refurbished back in 2019 and is located on the 108th and 109th floor. The wedding chapel is on the 107th floor. And the indoor-outdoor also has a food and bar area that you can walk around, enjoy. We did not partake in that. However, next time we would like to. And then on the top floor, of course, is amusement park. A few other notes about the observation tower. From 2000 to 2014, 6 people unfortunately have jumped to their death. However, there are now new safety precautions and procedures in place to prevent that happening, luckily. And the elevator, believe it or not, at 801 feet per second is one of the fastest elevators in the world. Also, there's an event that's run from 2009 to currently for the American Lung Association, which is basically a race from the bottom all the way to the top of all the steps. Racers are basically given a 1 minute head start, and then they go in 1 minute intervals. First person top wins. And that's to raise money for charity. So there's some pretty cool little things there they do with the observation tower. And over the years, the residents have started to see the benefits of the tower, especially it being a Vegas landmark. And even though it's in Naked City, which is not the greatest area of Las Vegas, it's still considered an iconic symbol. So anyway, let's talk now about the rides. So when it opened in 96, there were 2 rides. The Big Shot, which is one of those rides that shoots up and shoots down, tower rides, located at the top of the Strat. And at the time, it was the second tallest ride in the world. And then the High Roller, which was a coaster that was opened in 96 and then closed in 2005, wrapped around the outside of the observation deck. From videos I've seen, I'd never ridden it. It looked like it was just a slow snail kiddie coaster. It kind of went around. And it was more just about the views and, oh my gosh, we're going to fall off the edge and go off the edge. So it's kind of that thrill. I felt they could have done more, and it sounded like they have over the years, but were unable to, and I'll get to that in a second. And the reason it closed was due to malfunction, and the cost of repairs were too much, even though it was profitable, so eventually closed. There are currently also 3 other rides. Extreme, that's basically a ride where it's like a sled. You're starting up in like a little roller coaster car, and it tips over, and it's like you're going to fall right off the side of the building, and then it goes back up. And then there's Insanity, which is the 3rd highest, opened in 2005, right after High Roller closed. And this one is more of, it takes you out over top and spins you around a little bit, and you're looking down over the strip. Now, funny story with that. Shortly after it opened, the ride malfunctioned and stranded riders over an hour and a half over the strip while it was getting repaired. So think about that one, folks. That would be kind of scary. There are 2 canceled, well, technically 3 canceled projects, but I'm going to break them down to 2. First one, when the park initially opened, the theme ride area, they considered doing a King Kong ride called Belly of the Beast, from what I was told. And basically what this was riders were strapped into the stomach of this ape creature, and it would climb up the side of the building. When it got to the top, it would start to drop at incremental themes, and it had been announced, planned. And when we got to construction, what they had found was the design was not exciting enough. Like, the falls weren't going to be thrilling enough. And the designers in the casino and hotel just basically decided to scrap that. And then there were 2 planned additional roller coasters that basically caught the ire of the community. First one was to drop off the top, go down, go up 700 feet to the other side, and it was supposed to take you across Las Vegas Strip over to the other side. But that was eventually, like I said, shut down due to concerns, just the noise and the aesthetics that would be less appealing to the citizens of Naked City, which I find ironic, but hey, who might complain? And then another one more recently in the 2000s was they were going to do dual rolling coasters. One was going to kind of keep the same idea of the original. It was going to be more of a drop coaster, which is going to take you straight down and have drops. And the second was going to be one that kind of was like the High Roller, but it was going to take you all the way down, kind of twist and turn throughout the length. Due to air travel concerns, city council, community, both those ideas were scrapped as well. To this day, I will say this. When I think of Las Vegas, and I'm actually staring at a picture right now of the skyline, and there is the Strat Tower. Personally, I know I'm going to Vegas. I always think of that. So Bob Stupak created this design to stand out on the Las Vegas landscape, and he did that. And as crazy and nutty as this man been, as I said in this last episode, he really did make an impact. Thank you for joining me today. Next time, we're going to finish up the Icon series on Stupak, and we're going to talk about the Strat Casino and Hotel, and I'm going to go into a little bit more details about some of the good, the bad, talk about the shows, the casino, the mall that they were planned, then failed, then opened. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Before I go, make sure you click like, hit subscribe. Also, I want to ask you a question. What's your favorite memory of the observation deck or the Strat in general, or Bob Stupak, guy in great stories? Love to hear them. Follow me on Instagram at Talkin Vegas All Day with KA, my Facebook page under the same name. Remember, it's Talkin, no G at the end. And then also you can follow me on Twitter at Vegas_KA. But that's all the time we have today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Talkin Vegas All Day with me, KA.